Hi there. My name's Kayla Archer, and I'm a Learning and Development Specialist at Colorado Access. I'm here today to talk to you a little bit about being pregnant, and not only being pregnant, but being pregnant during the time of COVID. I'm currently 30 weeks pregnant. It's been a really interesting adventure. This is my first pregnancy, so I know no different. My husband, Travis, was able to join me for our initial appointment at 8 weeks, where we did confirm we were pregnant, and at our 20-week appointment, where we got to take a good look at our son. I've been really trying to educate myself as best I can, so when I go into the doctor's office, I have good questions. I've also been able to be a support person for my cousin who had her baby late last year. Congratulations, Becca. And to my sister. Let's meet her. This is Rayanna Wiesner, who also works at Colorado Access. What's your official title at Colorado Access right now?
Oh, I'm a utilization coordinator.
All right.
Yeah.
So different department, still awesome. And we happen to be pregnant together during this time. So Rayanna, how many weeks pregnant are we saying you are?
So 24 weeks, give or take.
There's been a debacle about where, might be 2 weeks ahead, we think, but
yeah,
we'll say 24 weeks. So again, I'm 30 weeks, so we're pretty close together. And this is your second baby?
It's my second baby. Yep.
Second baby, so exciting. What did you absolutely love about your first pregnancy?
I think just all the first, like feeling the baby move for the first time, the first ultrasound where they confirmed the pregnancy, was super cool. And I loved like hearing the baby's heartbeat. And then the 20-week, that first anatomy scan was incredible. So those were really memorable moments for me. I really enjoyed being pregnant, actually.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. You were such a sport. We ended up going to Georgia for our cousin's wedding when you were 100 months pregnant. How pregnant were you at that
I was
point?
35 weeks pregnant.
Out of 40. And she was such a trooper. She rented a red sports car.
A Charger.
And drove us around Georgia while eating red vine. What's been different for you with this pregnancy during a pandemic?
There's been a lot of differences with it being my actual pregnancy and experiencing pregnancy with women I'm really close to. Mm-hmm. In my own pregnancy, a lot of it is the spousal support at appointments. A lot of appointments are really quick anyways. Those ultrasound ones are long, but it was still nice to have my spouse with me in my first pregnancy because they have different questions and you kind of get flustered and just lost. I'm like, oh, I'm hearing my baby's heartbeat. And I think that also makes them feel more included. And that's something I haven't experienced as much in this pregnancy. Truly, we were going for my 20-week appointment. My husband was like, wait, this is where we're going to deliver. He was confused because he hasn't been going to appointments because they're not allowed. He's been able to go to the ultrasound appointments, which has been special. So I just don't feel like my spouse maybe feels as included in the pregnancy as previously because they're not allowed to participate the way they were before. I am a little anxious about the hospital setting this time. We chose with our first baby to have people come visit at the hospital. So that way when we got home, we could really settle in our routine and not have a lot of people coming in and out of our home for the first couple weeks. And this time, you can, so far, it's a support person. I've heard they might have changed now to 2 support people. But I don't want anyone else there supporting me other than my spouse during the actual labor piece.
Not surprising because she didn't for the first time either, even though her sister begged to be there.
Yeah.
Continue.
So, in having a daughter now, my daughter's 3. She's my world. And I want her to feel included. And so I'm nervous about her not being able to come to the hospital to meet her sibling because that's just something the way I had envisioned it. So those are the biggest difference as far as being pregnant. For the women I know that are close to me who have been pregnant during the pandemic, it's been sad almost for me to watch how much of their pregnancies are kind of being missed. I feel like pregnancy is amazing and you want to share it, so you post it sort of on social media, but I was much more private with my first pregnancy in social media than I'm being now, only because people are nervous to be around you. You're nervous to be around other people, to go and do things that you would normally do to be celebrating your pregnancy, like gender reveals down to baby showers, those big staple pieces that I just really feel for women right now, that you're you're sacrificing those things to stay safe and keep people around you safe. So that's a big difference I've seen, and something that I think has really affected the kind of the joyous parts of pregnancy, the parts you do want to share with other people.
I will say my husband and I, Travis and I, were out to dinner last night, and it was the first time that someone I didn't know came up and they were really excited and, oh my gosh, are you having a boy or a girl? And how far along are you? Let me get you a little treat. Well, the baby a little treat. It was the first time that I've had that experience. Mm-hmm. And I got so flustered, like in a good way. I got so flustered. I completely forgot what we were talking about. And I'm 7, almost 8 months pregnant. And that's the first time I've had an experience like that from somebody I didn't know.
Right. My cousin was pregnant during the beginning of the pandemic when it's still scary, but it was really, really scary then, when we were still under the shelter in place, and her mom went to visit her, and I know her mom didn't even get to touch her belly and stuff. And it's just little things like that when maybe you don't want people to touch your belly at all, and that's totally fine too. But those sweet things were feeling the baby kick, and it's just sad for me that she didn't get to really share that with the people that she cares about the most.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. It's been challenging. What would you say to women like me, who it's our first pregnancy during a pandemic? Is there anything that you would say to us to keep in mind or remember?
I think just really keeping as brave as you can be, because you are struggling with a lot of decisions that you wouldn't be struggling with if you weren't in a pandemic. One is who I feel safe around, what questions you're going to ask your doctor with or without a support person there with you. It's not the normal way things would look if you weren't in a pandemic. So I think just putting on your brave face, doing as much as you can to educate yourself, and trying to create different ways if you don't feel comfortable being around people in person, that you can share your pregnancy and make it as inclusive and special for you and the people you want it to be special for, creating that space.
Well, I really do appreciate you taking the time to be here and to share some of your experience with us. It means a lot to me. I'm so glad that we'll have it forever now.
Yes, yay.
That we are pregnant together. So thank you again so much. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you.
How fun. Thanks again, Rihanna. I really appreciated you coming all the way over to my house for that. I wanted to be honest with you. When I first talked to my doctor about getting vaccinated, way back when I was 2 months pregnant, he did recommend that as soon as I could get vaccinated, I do so. However, I had some apprehensions. This is my story when it comes to vaccination, but I thought it was important to share. What do we know about getting vaccinated during pregnancy? Is it going to affect my baby? Is it going to affect the pregnancy? Will I be able to go full term? We just didn't know enough then. So I put it off and I put it off. My time came in, I believe that was February, when I could have gotten my vaccine for the first time, and I chose to wait. I continued to do my research, trying to find articles coming from reliable sources. I talked to other physicians that I knew. My auntie is a nurse, so I spoke with her about it, and I tried to gather as much information as I could. And for me, doing a risk-benefit analysis, I still felt some concern about potential fever. And if there's one thing you hear over and over as a pregnant woman, it's that you don't want to get a fever. And I kept having friends who would get their second vaccine and they would get a fever. And I didn't want to do that. So I continued to have conversations with those that are educated in medicine. One of the reasons why I changed my mind and decided to get the vaccine was my doctor had told me that if I did test positive for COVID on my own, if I had an exposure and I tested positive, because they were so concerned about blood clots, I would be automatically prescribed an injectable blood thinner. I would have to inject myself with medicine to make sure I didn't get a blood clot during pregnancy. And I really didn't want to have that experience. And as I continued to talk to those who know about medicine, I was reassured that I could take a Tylenol to help mitigate the fever. So that is when I decided it was time. This was the first time as a pending mommy that I was able to make a choice that was right for me and my family. I wanted you to know from one pregnant woman's perspective why I chose to get vaccinated. Thank you so much, and I hope you have a great rest of your day.